Thanks, Bob, for that segment on stretches. Now we're going to go into a little bit of winter maintenance on your rods and reels. Clark, you want to start us off?
Yeah, if it's too cold for you to fish and you don't want to venture out and you put your gear up for the winter, I want to recommend a couple things that you do just to make sure that your gear is ready to go for the next season. At a bare minimum, spray fresh water on your rods and your reels, because salt will corrode everything over time, and even though it's sitting out in your garage or sitting somewhere and it's cold and you think nothing's happening to it, you need to hit it with some fresh water to keep that salt from corroding.
There you go.
There you go. And then the other thing I recommend you do, a lot of guys, they like to take a little of the rod and reel cleaner or WD-40, spray it on the outside, hit your guides, hit the outside of your reel. Now, one thing I want to recommend that you don't do, and we see it here more often than you would expect, guys will open their reel up and spray the whole inside with WD-40.
That just takes off all your grease.
All your grease. It's a grease cutter, kids. Don't do it.
It's simple science. Like dissolves like.
Yep. Now, the one thing we do recommend you do is at least every other year, bring your reel in to be serviced. You need to come in, get a clean check and lube, because you wouldn't believe sand and salt will get in your reel. It's just amazing how it can happen.
Even if you don't drop it in the sand,
Exactly.
even if you don't submerge it in salt water, it's going to happen.
Exactly. It's going to happen. So at least every other year, get in here. Now, what I want to recommend to you, Brad, what do we have happen all the time in April and May?
Everybody comes in, they got 4 or 5 reels. We got guys bringing them boxes of reels. They come in late March, they come in April, they come in early May. Hey, I need this next week. The flounder bite's on. Hey, I need this. And we're going to tell you, sorry, man, it's going to be 3 to 6 weeks out. And then, well,
yep.
So we're telling you right now, get it in early. We can do it now. We can get it done in a couple days right now. But, once everybody starts coming in, and, you're sitting there and your buddy goes out flounder fishing and he burned them up, and next thing you go out, your reel doesn't work, your rod's not working right, you bring it in here, everybody had the same idea all at once.
It's an $18 to $20 investment to get your reel serviced for the year. And that's what you want to do. The other thing you need to do is check your guides on your rods.
Yes.
What is the number one thing Power Pro will do to your guides?
It cuts it.
Cuts them. That Power Pro is vicious stuff. It will cut your guides. Easiest thing to do is just take a knife, run it around each guide, and you'll feel whether or not a groove is starting to form. The other thing you want to do is check the line roller on your reel, because your Power Pro, a lot of your equipment, if it's older, it wasn't made to handle a super line.
It wasn't made to handle Power Pro. It's made to handle monofilament.
Yep.
So what's going to happen, you go out, you just spent, $50 in fuel. You just got a wrath of crap from the old lady for taking off all day Saturday. You go out, next thing you know, you hook up to a fish, bam, your line breaks. I don't know what happened. Maybe it was a knot, maybe it was this, maybe it was that. 9 times out of 10, people come in, it's literally a bad tip. There's a crack in the tip, the line starts going out, and it cuts it instantly.
Now, talking about Power Pro, Brad, how often do you replace that?
I'm Power Pro, specifically from Power Pro.
Or a super line. We just need to keep it generic.
Or
a super
line.
line.
I get you. It's 2 to 3 years. The max I'll go is about 3 years or so. For the most part, every year I'll strip off the top 20, 30 yards, 40 yards, whatever it is, that you get to the line where it's the color that you originally bought.
It does fray over time.
Yeah,
colors.
The red turns pink, the yellow turns white, and the green turns gray. You just take that off. Now, when you start getting down, you just want to replace it. Monofilament, if you use it heavy, every year, I would say.
Every year,
on the inshore stuff, if you're going to be fishing a lot, like on the beach, at the jetties, just outside the inlet, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Offshore, that it's all to how much you use it. I know for me, I like to fish offshore. I don't get there a lot though. I replace that every 2 to 3 years, but you just want to check it. Give it the old tug if it breaks. Tie the knot. You usually tie. Put a little pressure on it, make sure it doesn't slip, make sure it doesn't break, because a lot of times with the monofilament, Clark would tell you, it might be fine when you give it the little tug test, but we tie that knot. When you're pulling that knot tight, it creates a little bit of heat on your monofilament, and just that little bit of heat on a brittle line is just going to make it snap. So yeah, definitely. But definitely use your Penn products that we got here to clean up the reel, to clean all the salt off your guides. Take a little, just an old toothbrush that you have, and just scrub your guides, stuff like that. Also, too, with your super lines, we have what's called line and lure. It kind of, how would you say, it rehydrates the line.
It gives it a sheen.
So that way when you're casting, you don't get a lot of line drag. Everything like that. So
and getting back to mono, your two biggest problems with your mono, if you store it in excessive heat, it starts to break the line down. And the other is sunlight. Sunlight will break mono down like you wouldn't believe.
Well, you got to think too. If you're a surf fisherman, it's on the front of your truck. It's just sitting there baking.
Yep.
You're driving down the road. It's just baking in that heat. If you're on the boat, it's just sitting there baking in the heat again. Most boats are white on the inside. It gets nice and hot.
We spend, me and you, we probably spend 50 days a year surf fishing.
Yeah, out on the beach.
I replace mine every year. Because that heat, that salt water, and that sunlight is just frying your line. And I fish mono on the beach.
I fish power pro.
Yeah, exactly. So
whatever. But and then again too,
wintertime, other wintertime things to do.
Wintertime, come in, get your license early. Don't wait till your buddy calls you. He's burning up fish. You come in, you stop in. Next thing you know, you got a line out the door. If you don't want to come in, get it online. Just be ready to go, because next thing you know, you're going to wake up and it's going to be flounder season, and it's going to be on.
Come and stop by and see us here at the store. Even if you just want to get a cup of coffee, just come see us. We'll tell you everything you need to know, even a couple of lies.
Yeah. Another thing too, just bring your rod in. It's literally 9 times out of 10. It's free. Just bring your rod in if you have a question. Jim that works for us in the back, he's a rod repairman. He is literally the best guy.
Yeah, he does good
in
work.
Sussex County. Around here, we got a lot of people come in from custom built rods. Just, he'll take his time. He's a real nice guy. He'll take his time. He'll just run a little razor blade around each one. He'll bend your rod, make sure there's no cracks in the glass or anything. You're good to go. Let's just get ready and have a great season.
And speaking of the season coming up, we have a couple off-season events that we're
we
getting ready to do.
Yes.
If you've never been, 2 weeks from now is the off-season event of the year. We started this about 10 years ago. We have a scratch and dent inventory reduction sale here at Old Inlet. It's the 16th and 17th. I'm not sure exactly. Whatever that Saturday and Sunday is, I think it's the 16th and 17th.
Of what?
February.
There you go.
2 weeks away. It's the same weekend as the Ocean City Boat Show. We have a sale where we are selling discontinued items, cosmetic blemish, overstocks. We make deals with manufacturers to blow out old merchandise. And you're talking about discounts of 30 to 70% on some things. I'm not going to let any secrets out. We have got, hopefully, a deal in the works that is going to bring a boatload of good merchandise in here for that sale. So that's the 16th and 17th. It's 8 to 4 both days. It is the cannot miss event of the off season, and we've had as many as 150 people walk through the door at 8 o'clock. It is just a spectacle to see.
I've bought a lot of stuff at that
sale. Yeah, it's a great sale. I mean, it's like an indoor yard sale. Now, speaking of the yard sale concept, we've got a flea market coming up. The first annual Delaware Fisherman Flea Market is going to be held March 2nd and 3rd. And Chris is going to signal to me right now what the times are on that. No, he's not. It's all day. It's at the Indian River Volunteer Fire Company.
Right off Route 24.
Right off of Route 24. We're going to be there on Saturday. Old Inlet will be there on Saturday. We can't make both days. And the great thing about that event is, one is it's going to be a flea market. We plan on bringing some items over, and we're going to sell them at flea market prices. It's going to be that kind of thing. The other thing we're going to do that day, we're going to have a live studio audience, and we're going to film the Saltwater Rundown Fishing Show right there in front of everybody.
Blemishes, mess ups, slip ups, everything.
You're going to see it all.
Right out.
You're going to see it all. And there may be beer. All right, guys. Where's Mako Man?
Mako Man.
we're going to close it out for this evening.
All right.
Say goodbye.
Dog's missing.
Again, I'm Clark Evans.
I'm Brad Clark. Oh, and Mako
we're
Man's
from Old
venturing
Inlet Bait
in.
and
Come on,
Tackle.
Bubba.
We're from Old Inlet Bait and Tackle, and there's
All right.
Mako saying good night, everybody.
See you next time, guys. Thank
See you next time. See you on the 2nd to film the show. We hope you'll participate as well.